Okay, hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. My name is Hannah Kripa. I'm the Content Marketing Manager here at Certiport, and we're happy to have everyone joining us for our second Certified Academy IT webinar today. Feel free, let me open up the chat actually while we're talking about it. To drop into the chat, let us know where you're joining us from, what classes you teach, if you use any of these certifications in the classroom so that we can get a chance to all know each other and hopefully deliver on what you're hoping to learn today. Now, this session, of course, is being recorded, so anyone who isn't able to watch the full session or is watching, has registered and is not able to make it, you'll be able to get a full recording via email after. All of our attendees are currently muted, so we've set aside some time at the end of the presentation for some Q&A, but feel free throughout the presentation to drop those into the chat or the Q&A feature, and we can address those as we get to the end of the slide portion of the presentation. Now, today we are so excited and pleased to be talking about how to shape the future of AI with IT certifications. And we'll be diving into the full portfolio of Certiport's AI certifications with some of our own employees, starting with Kath Richards. So Kath, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to you to get us started.
Okay, great. Thank you, Hannah. So my name is Kath Richards. I'm a product manager here at Certiport. I am in charge of our critical career skills program, along with Intuit and Unity as well. I'm really excited to talk a little bit about AI. We have some, new things to look at, and also I want to give a little bit of background about why students need AI skilling. So we have a few stats here listed, if you want to, refer to them. But first, I wanted to note that 90% of HR leaders believe that up to half of their workforce will need to be reskilled in the next 5 years due to AI. AI, and particularly generative AI, is this emerging and already emerged technology that has really disrupted a lot of industries. And not only are young people, right, going to need these skills as they are entering the workforce, people who are already in the workforce are going to need to be reskilled in that. Next stat here is 66% of business leaders say that they wouldn't hire someone without AI skills. There's a quote that we, throw around a lot, which is that your job isn't going to be replaced by AI. It's going to be replaced by someone who knows how to use AI, right? So even in hiring, right, this is a skill that people are looking for more than experience, more than education. It is, what is the experience and skills in artificial intelligence. Next, generative AI has the potential to generate 2.6 trillion to 4.4 trillion in value across industries. This is a really interesting one because this is no longer just in like artificial intelligence is not something just tied to the IT industry or right to tech anymore. This is across really all industries and all sorts of sectors, and you're going to see that more and more. So that's a little background. Let's go next slide. If we can. Okay, there we go. Perfect. So here at Certiport, we have 3 exams that we are going to talk about today that focus on some different facets of artificial intelligence. And I will, go into a little deeper our first exam, this Generative AI Foundations. But as an overview, we have in 3 different programs. First, a Generative AI Foundations exam. Second is an IT Specialist Artificial Intelligence exam. And then we have a Microsoft Fundamentals and Azure AI Fundamentals exam. Each of these exams are selected response and have a 50-minute time limit, so they can be taken in a class period. If we wanted to look at, again, this kind of very broad overview of these 3 exams on how they're different, I'll start with Generative AI Foundations. And note that the main user here is someone needing to use an AI solution, and specifically a generative AI solution. So this is anyone, right? This is in any industry, someone who is going to be interfacing with generative AI. For IT specialist, the main user here is someone who is going to be developing an AI solution. So a step further, right, we get a little closer into the IT space and the tech versus that first. And then for the Azure AI Fundamentals exam, that is someone who is going to seek to enhance their skills in developing an AI solution. So a step further than the fundamentals of developing an AI solution, right? This is a little more specialized. All right. So now we're going to talk about the first on the list, and this is the one that I'm in charge of. So I'm excited to tell you about our brand new Generative AI Foundations exam. This exam launched just a couple weeks ago, and we are just so excited that now people can take it. For some kind of context, since 2023, demand for generative AI skills has exploded by almost 2,000%. In 2023, we all are probably familiar, ChatGPT and OpenAI, right, kind of entered the market and really changed the game and showed that suddenly artificial intelligence is not something that is specifically for tech professionals only, but instead is something really, really accessible, right, for anyone. So a little bit about this exam. It validates the foundational skills needed to effectively and ethically use generative AI tools of all kinds. So what this means is that it's brand agnostic. A lot of kind of AI certificates and things that you might see nowadays are created by the companies who have these AI tools. So instead of looking at one specifically, for instance, Firefly or ChatGPT or Copilot, right? This is brand agnostic. So giving you the skills to interface with any generative AI tool. And as I've mentioned earlier, generative AI is not something that is only used for tech professionals anymore. So this is something that would be really great to add on to any program, whether that be business or marketing or finance or IT, right? Computer programming or graphic design, this is something that will be really helpful. In terms of objective domains, I'll just go over these top four. It looks at the generative AI methods and methodologies. So kind of how is generative AI different from other types of artificial intelligence? How does it work on a kind of base level? And then from there, we go into basics of prompt engineering, how to tell the AI tool what to do. And from there, prompt refinement. So when you get a response, how do you change your prompt to make it better? And finally, what we thought was really important was the ethics, laws, and societal impact of generative AI. I'm really excited to announce that when we launched this exam, we were able to launch with the full pathway, which is the learning, so learning content, courseware, practice tests, and the certification. We have two MSI and the CCI learning. Those courses are available, and LearnKey is coming this November. In terms of practice tests, those are already available, of course, and then the certification is as well. So if you're an educator and you want to take a test, really reach out to your TM or take a look into it. It's really great. So I'm going to pass it now to Lilia, who's in charge of IT specialist, and she's going to talk about the artificial intelligence exam.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kath. And thank you all for being here today and spending a little bit of time with us. As Kath mentioned, I'm the product manager for the IT specialist program and work with the artificial intelligence exam that's part of that program. So the IT specialist AI exam was developed to validate foundational skills that someone needs to start a career in AI. So this is specifically designed for those individuals that want to eventually work with building an AI solution. The exam is structured around the AI solution development lifecycle so that somebody has the knowledge, the skill set validated, showing that they have the knowledge to build and train an AI solution. So it's going to cover off on machine learning approaches, regression, classification, and then it also covers off on large learning models used by generative AI. So a little bit less about using the actual generative AI, but more so about building that type of solution. It's also vendor agnostic, so we're not focusing on just one vendor. We're focusing again on validating that somebody has the aptitude to go on and build these AI solutions, regardless of the vendor that they're going into. So on the right, I have put down the skill groups that this exam focuses on, and I'll spend just a little bit of time kind of highlighting what these are all about. So the first one is AI problem definition, and this skill group focuses on identifying the right problem that you think that AI can solve, classifying the problem to determine that the AI solution is going to succeed and provide meaningful results. From there, it jumps to data collection, processing, and engineering. Um, Good data is so important in building a good quality AI solution. So in this skill group, the objective domains are focused in on unbiased data, collecting data, and then kind of splitting up that data and planning your training and testing data sets. AI algorithms and models is all about training the right type of algorithm and model. Then we move on to application integration and deployment. And this can be really anything that focuses on putting that model into production. So it could be training customers, it could be creating a production pipeline. And then last but not least is maintaining and monitoring AI in production. So building an AI model and AI solution is an iterative process. So it's really important to have that skill set validated that shows that somebody knows how to monitor it, how to retrain it, and how to make the best solution. All right. And when we created this, we really wanted to make sure that the exam mapped to job roles that are in demand. So the IT specialist AI exam is helping someone to start a career path in AI. And we specifically focused in on jobs like data engineer, data scientist, AI, machine learning, data engineer, and developer. So basically, when we did research for the types of skills that should be validated in this certification and in this exam, we had these type of entry level on the entry level side of the house, these types of job roles in our minds. And then, of course, as AI develops more and more, there's going to be more advanced education options that are available. There's already a lot of other certifications that are out there in AI that are kind of mid level and above that foundational level that this certification can help set somebody up for. We also offer the full learning pathway for this certification. So we have two of our learning partners, LearnKey and CertPrep Courseware, that have created courses for this exam. We have Gmetrics that has practice exams as well available for this. And I wanted to spend just a little bit of time talking about industry recognition. So when we build exams, when we build these certifications, we want to make sure that they have validity in the field. We want to make sure that they're recognized in the field. So we have all these great companies that are basically standing behind our certification and saying that it does meet all of the kind of requirements for this field, all of the requirements in the AI field. We have Pearson, which is of course our parent company, leading education company in the world. SAS, which is a very large world leading data company, CertNexus, and then PSITE, which is an organization in the Philippines that's dedicated to training IT specialists. And with that, I'll pass it over to Caroline.
Great. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. My name is Caroline Dill, and I am the Product Marketing Manager here at Certiport over our Microsoft certifications. And as we're talking about IT and then also artificial intelligence, another certification program we wanted to bring up was the Microsoft Certified Fundamentals certification program. So just to give you a little bit of a broader view of what this program is, it's really designed to provide candidates and individuals with the foundational knowledge of Microsoft technologies and services. So as you can see, it includes a full suite of certifications that really focus on cloud computing, business intelligence and applications, cybersecurity, and to many of you, all of us are pretty much familiar with Microsoft being one of the leaders in IT. So they validate skills and really they're in-demand platforms that organizations around the world are utilizing, like Microsoft Azure, Microsoft Power Platform, and Microsoft Dynamics. Within this certification suite, the one certification that really aligns to the concept that we're talking about today is our Microsoft Azure AI Fundamentals exam. And what you'll see on the next slide is that this exam really focuses on a lot of the foundational AI concepts, but how they apply within that Microsoft Azure technology. So I know probably many of us are familiar with what Microsoft Azure is, but it's the cloud computing platform and service offered by Microsoft, and it really provides a wide range of cloud services from computing, analytics, storage, network, and then ultimately AI capabilities. So what this means is that this certification is really focused on how to create and deploy AI models and solutions on this platform. So it does cover, the concepts of artificial intelligence, AI workloads, machine learning, computer vision, but within how to build that solution within the Azure environment. So what you'll see is with this, who are the ultimate people who, might be interested in certifying in this certification? And there's really 3 buckets. The first bucket is ultimately going to be students. And these are the students that are focusing on pursuing an IT career. And even looking at, as Kath mentioned earlier, enhancing their understanding of, cloud computing and these AI concepts. One thing to point out, while it's not required, we do recommend that it's integrated into a level where students come in with a basic understanding of cloud concepts and also client server applications. So it helps them really build a strong foundation in the Microsoft technologies and aids in that future specialization. So with that, where we often find the certification really taking a stronghold is within higher education students who are interested in continuing to explore the IT pathway for a career. The next bucket is our professionals. So this is going to be, I saw a couple of people in the chat are in adult education programs. So our adult education and workforce development programs. Really, this certification is ideal for entry-level IT professionals or even professionals who might have experience in other areas of IT. So as Kath said, nearly half of the industry is going to have to reskill in artificial intelligence. So maybe it's someone who wants to get an additional certification to help round out their knowledge of Microsoft-related technologies in this space. And what you'll also see within the professional realm is that this certification really maps well also to the Azure role-based certifications, so Microsoft's professional level certifications like Azure Data Scientist Associate and Azure AI Engineering Associate, and can even be suitable for non-technical roles who might want to just effectively communicate with or manage an IT team. And then, as we always say here at Certiport, we really encourage all of our educators and trainers to also get certified in the certification, not only to increase your own professional development, but then also to really provide you a great understanding of how to integrate this Microsoft technology into your classroom, and then understand the latest tools and development concepts in creating AI solutions. So what you'll see in this as well is regardless of, how much you know about Microsoft Azure, how much you understand about like the specific Microsoft technologies, we do offer the full pathway. So the learning products, the practice, and then ultimately the certification. Our learning programs are with CCI Learning and LearnKey. We have practice tests that help you really engage with the students and understand if they're ready to move on to take the certification, but then also gives them a real world testing experience. And then ultimately, this will all lead to that certification itself. Another thing just to mention as well is Microsoft also has a full suite of resources on their Microsoft Learn platform that goes into a lot of these concepts, as well as a lot of their technology as well. So shifting gears a little bit, as I mentioned, what you'll see is, I know the other 2 certification programs are a little bit more brand agnostic, but really this is going to be focused on that Microsoft technology and making sure that individuals are equipped to go into the workforce with not only learning and understanding these concepts, but then also being, confident in utilizing the various different platforms that they'll be implementing AI solutions in. So a lot of the job roles that this focuses on are those ones that are really in demand right now, that we're seeing an increase in demand. So the AI engineer, the cloud engineer, even within the data analyst and business analyst sectors. And what we've seen is when individuals certify in fundamentals, on the next slide, they can really prove they have the foundational understanding of key concepts within AI, machine learning, and then ultimately how to implement this technology on one of the leading platforms. And they're set out apart from the job market, and they have that foundational understanding to ultimately go into more advanced IT roles. And then a huge bonus as well is they have enhanced credibility. This is a certification that is created and backed by Microsoft, which is a trusted name in the IT industry, as well as, on the cutting edge of this AI movement. So these certifications are widely recognized and help, the candidate, help the organization, and then ultimately can help the educator. So with that, I think I'm going to throw it back over to Kath to wrap us up. So thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. And thank you, Lilia, as well. This is, a lot of information that we threw at you. I know this recording will probably be sent out after, but as just a kind of overall look back, we have these 3 different exams: Generative AI Foundations, IT Specialist, Artificial Intelligence, and then the Microsoft Azure AI Fundamentals. And as Caroline mentioned, the first 2 are brand agnostic, and this 3rd one is a little bit more focused on Microsoft. We've kind of already gone over how these exams look different, but really what you can think about for these is, who's your audience, and, how can they, benefit from this? And I think looking at it in terms of a way of they don't necessarily stack, like one isn't needed as a prerequisite for another, but they can build very well on each other as the focus gets a little narrower in terms of audience. So again, looking at this for everyone, for IT specialists, and then as well for more focused IT specialists. So that's everything we have today. We're super excited to talk about these exams. Reach out to your territory managers and learn more and take these exams as well, because they are really awesome. And then I guess I'll pass back to Hannah for some final things.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kath. We did have a couple of questions that I wanted to make sure we addressed. One that came through: what classes would you want to teach with each of these certifications?
Good
Yeah,
question.
I can. Yeah, that's a really good question. I can take the IT specialist one first. Sorry, Kath. For the IT specialist one, we've typically seen this being adopted into those foundational AI exams, or sometimes AI classes. So ones that are teaching about the AI life cycle. I think sometimes what we've seen is even data analytics courses are sometimes touching on building an AI solution, just because those 2 are very intertwined in some ways. I think any class that covers off on the entire AI life cycle would be a good one on building the entire AI life cycle would be a good one for IT specialist.
And to touch on the generative AI foundations, as I mentioned, I think this would be a really good one for really any class. So if you're teaching technology in business, or if you're teaching a finance class or a marketing, I think generative AI has so many uses across industries. So looking into kind of how are people using that in the industry, or, in the classes that you're teaching, and then, getting those skills and then focusing on how it's being used is really helpful.
Awesome. And then from the fundamental side of things, it's going to be really similar to what Lilia covered. The one big difference is going to be, as I mentioned earlier, candidates really need to kind of have a basic understanding of some cloud concepts and client server applications. So oftentimes what we'll see happen is on the level of the IT specialist, a student might go through that level of course, and then in their next course, they might cover something more specific to the Microsoft technologies. So with that, oftentimes, students or educators will start their students off either with an IT specialist certification, or they'll actually even highlight the Azure Fundamental Certification or the AZ900, and then foray into the AI certification.
Perfect. Thank you all for that. So, Kath, we'll bring this question to you. You mentioned that they're not necessarily stackable credentials, but if I wanted to teach multiple exams, what would be the recommended order for teaching these exams in?
Yeah, I think the order that we presented them in is a pretty good order for the order you might teach them, right? So first, looking at generative AI, that is a really good foundational exam, not just for generative AI, but also it looks a little bit at AI as a technology and kind of how it works. Further, then we would move into the IT specialist one, which is where you can really learn about building an AI tool. And then that Microsoft fundamentals one is a little bit more focused specifically on Azure. So in that way, you can see how they kind of build on each other.
Okay, great. And then the last question, is there specific technology required to teach or prepare students to take the certification exam?
I can start this one off. So on the fundamental side of things, as I mentioned, it really focuses on Microsoft Azure. And while you can implement Microsoft Azure into the classroom to provide some students hands-on instruction, it is not necessarily required. So all of the learning materials, stuff on Microsoft Learn really provides a glimpse into the software, the programming and everything where they can just utilize that to ultimately then prepare for the certification.
Perfect. Thanks, Caroline.
And for generative AI, no, you don't need any specific tools, to look at. No software needed.
Perfect.
Yeah. Ditto for IT specialist. Nothing special needed.
Amazing. Okay, thank you. And thank you so much to our amazing presenters for everything that they've shared with us this afternoon. To Kath's point from earlier, this is a lot of information that we've covered in a very short amount of time, but we will be sending out the recording along with the slides that we've presented today in case you wanted to reference back to those. But before we close, I just wanted to call out a few additional things. The first is that as part of this Certified Academy IT program, we offer a bootcamp experience. So teachers who are interested in getting certified or using the curriculum or the practice test before they bring it to their students, we would encourage you to register for that particular option. So if you haven't added that to your Certified Academy IT registration, you can send us an email at certifiedacademy@pearson.com. And you can also read more about it on our blog. And I'll go ahead and drop that link here into the chat. The second announcement is that this Certified Academy IT program is an excellent build up to our certified annual conference that we have every year in June. So obviously we're a ways away from that still, but this next year we will be hosting this experience in Dallas, Texas. We're very excited to go back to Texas. We were there a couple years ago. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful conference. So if you're interested in learning more about IT certifications, AI certifications, or even just connecting with educators who teach and use these programs in the classroom, this is a great opportunity to do that. So you can learn more about Certified at certified.certiport.com. Third and final announcement is that our next session will be taking place on November 6th. So we'll be hosting a training session about preparing candidates for careers in cybersecurity. So we've talked a little bit about AI the last couple of weeks, now moving on into the cybersecurity space. So join us to learn from some cybersecurity professionals, ask them questions about their experience preparing for these types of careers and how they can get students excited about going into this new space. So we're excited to kind of move to a new subject area. And we hope everyone who's on this call is able to join us for that session as well. As always, thank you so much, everyone, for spending time with us this afternoon. We're so grateful that you've taken time out of your busy day to learn with us this afternoon. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your Certiport territory manager, or on the recording that will be sent out via email. You're more than welcome to respond there, and one of our Certiport representatives will be happy to assist you. So thank you, Kath, Lily, and Caroline for presenting today, and thank you everyone else for being here. We appreciate you. Have a good one.